Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Patrice, and as y'all saw, we have a new addition to the family. So shout out and a million thanks to Patrick over at Siser and also Heat Transfer Warehouse for making sure that this girl over here can experience a little bit of love at first sight. So today we are unboxing the Siser Romeo, which is Siser's newest 24-inch cutter. And y'all, I'm pretty excited about testing this out. We are going to be completing a few projects using it, and that is going to range from flock, of course, because y'all know I got to bling a little bit. So we're going to be doing a little bit of flock, HTV, and some printable vinyl. So we're going to dive right into what the Siser Romeo is, what it can do, and all of the different possibilities. If you are interested in any of this, follow along on this journey with me and look in the description. There will be a link listed to this cutter if you are interested in getting one yourself. If this is your first time here, please be sure to check out my other content. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoy it, of course, and also hit the subscribe button if you find the content on this channel to be useful. For my returning subscribers and members, hey y'all, welcome back. Now, I do need to let you guys know before we open this up, some of you have already seen my Siser Romeo in action on some lives that I've done, but today is the first time that I'm actually showing it up close and personal and unboxing it. And guess what? We have given the Siser Romeo a name. Now, I did think that, you know, Romeo, it's already pretty much tatted on the machine itself, but I love theater. If you guys have been here for a while, you guys know that I love theater. I actually love Shakespearean plays, and I think that we need to give Romeo a nickname. So we are going to call our Romeo Tony, and that is coming from the West Side Story. So in the West Side Story, Tony is pretty much Romeo. So we're going to call our Siser Romeo little T for Tony. All right, so let's get in. Let's open up our box and see what the Siser Romeo is all about. Let's get started. Alright y'all, so here is the Siser Romeo. It is absolutely beautiful. It is packaged well. I love how everything is laid out in the box, so classy. And we are going to be opening all of this up, but it just comes with some instructions and accessories and things like that that you need to get your machine to work properly. And y'all, here it is. Also, it comes with a cutting mat, a high-tack cutting mat. You get one of those, and that's it right here. You also have some QR codes that if you want to go ahead and scan those, you can, so that you can learn a little bit more about the machine. And here is our beauty. And once we got it out of the box, y'all, it really wasn't heavy at all. It wasn't heavy at all for me to handle it alone. So let's unbox. All right, y'all, so here is our new machine, the Siser Romeo, and we just need to remove the wrapping on it. There's no need for me to name this machine because guess what? It already has its name stamped on it, so we don't have to have a naming ceremony. But here is our new machine, and it is definitely a beauty. Just the way that it's made, it's very modern and it's very sleek. So we are going to get this unboxed. All right, guys, so let's unbox everything. We have our documentation here, and I'm actually going to open that first and see what this is all about. All right, so here are some QR codes to help get set up. and we have our operations manual. So pretty much lists everything that's included. So we know that we need to move this foam. So we're going to remove the foam. And then there's also a piece of foam over here. And this is probably the lever. Yep. All right. Outside of that, I don't see any other protective foam or anything on the machine. But we do have our clear film on the display. So let's begin by opening up the power cord. We'll open up the power cord, take that out. We also have the power supply. And now we have the accessories. So we have our USB cord, if you need one, USB cable. We have the housing and we have the blades. We have two 45s and a 60-degree blade. All right, guys, so we have it plugged in, but let's go ahead and look at some of the features of the machine. So over here we have our digital display, and that is touchscreen. You have your power button there. You also have your pinch wheels and your pinch rollers right here, and you also have your carriage. Next to the carriage, you have your housing where you will place your blade or your marking attachment. And we have our lever in the back. That lever is what will release these pinch wheels. And if you look here, we have four, looks like little squares, but four holders here on the pinch wheels. So we need to remove those. So what we're going to do is we are going to release it by putting that lever down. This is the lever right here. So we're just going to push it down. And when you push it down, those wheels will release, and then we're just going to slide these out. Now that we have those out, we're going to get ready to turn our machine on. Once we turned it on, our housing moved over to the left part of the machine. And we're going to get ready to place our blade inside. So the blade that we're going to start out with is the 45-degree blade, which is the standard blade. The 60-degree blade is for thicker materials, but the 45, which is the one with the red tip, that one's for more so your vinyls, kind of your everyday materials that you use. And so we're going to place this into the machine. All right, so we have our one of our 45-degree blades, and when you take it out, this is not the cutting tip. So this is the portion that will go into the housing. But before you do that, you want to be careful, and we have to remove the red tip, and then that will expose your blade. So we're going to drop this inside of the housing, being careful. And so once you drop it in, it is inside. Okay, and so now we're going to get ready to place it inside of the carriage, and it will just drop in here. But what you have to do is you have to turn this to the left to loosen it up, and then you're going to drop it in. And then you want to make sure that when you tighten it back up,
that your housing is all the way down and you don't really want to tighten it up under this groove in the housing. You want to tighten it up above it. That will help to secure it inside of the carriage. I'm just going to turn it. If you notice, that groove is underneath and this lock is on top. All right, so we have this installed. Let's get ready to move on to the next part. All right, guys, so here's a close-up of the display, and this is what will control the carriage to move it to the right or left. We also have settings, cut settings, and the ability to perform a test cut based on your material. So, like I was saying, this is what will move it to the right and to the left. And then the up and down arrows will move your material inside of the machine. So that will move your material forward or backwards when you're ready to place the material inside. All right, guys, so let's go into settings and we can see what our general settings are, and then just lets you know, I guess, the time that is going to stay on, and then you could maybe set a timer to put it to sleep. The units that it uses, metric, I kind of like imperial. Then we're going to look at the language. It's on English. The LED light, you can dim it or make it brighter. Alert. So after a job has been completed, you can put on a chime, or you can, I guess, change the light. It'll blink. As you guys see it blinking now. Let's go back. Kind of looked at everything there. Now for the Wi-Fi, we can go ahead and have it scan to look for the Wi-Fi, and hopefully it will detect my Wi-Fi. All right, so I see the very first selection. That is my Wi-Fi that I use, and now I just need to put in the password. All right, so we have it there, and we're going to click apply. We have our password in, and it's connecting. All right, so the Wi-Fi is connected. It's letting us know that it's connected, and we're just going to hit back out. All right, so let's look at the camera settings. And so this is the camera on the machine. And this is probably for when you're doing things like print and cut. The USB, we're not putting any files in for the software, or we're not doing anything like that, so we don't need to do that. But if you have a file on a USB, you can, I guess, put it into the machine and it'll read it. And then this is just basic system information.
Okay, y'all, so we headed over to Leonardo, which is the design software for the Siser Juliet or the Siser Romeo. And this is the homepage of Leonardo. They also have an area where you can get some tutorials and learn how to use the different features in the software. In addition, they also have an area where you can find a little inspiration of other projects that others who have the Romeo and Juliet, they share some of that information here, or some projects. You can access the design software, the design library, and what I like about it is that it's broken into categories and you can also search. Now, if you are using other places where you're getting different SVGs, you can import those in without any problem, but they do have where you can look through some of the clip art that they have. The software that we're using today is the Pro Edition, which there is a fee, a monthly fee for the Pro Edition. Right now you can get a free trial of it, but you will be able to do different things even if you don't have the Pro Edition. The Pro Edition allows you to export some of your designs outside of Leonardo as SVG or PNGs. So then we have the material library, and this is, of course, featuring Siser products, and you can pretty much choose from the different projects or different materials that Siser offers. In addition, you will select the cutter that you're using. Today, we are going to be using the Siser Romeo, and I have already registered it. So if you get a machine, you want to make sure you register it. And my page, it just pretty much shows information about you. And then heading to design, this is going to be where your canvas is. I already have imported some of the projects that we're going to be making today. This was actually from the Siser library, and I just made it one color because I'm just going to cut it with one piece of material, but it is broken into multiple colors. I also created this print then cut to make stickers for my whiteboard at work, and we're going to see how the print then cut feature works. And y'all know that I gotta do a little bit of bling, so we are going to be making a HTV bling shirt as well. So we're gonna get ready to head over to the machine. Our first project is going to be the create image here. I'm going to delete the one that's super colorful because we're just going to use this one. And again, you can find this file in the Siser library. And so once you're ready, you're just going to click send design, and all of this is going to go on one board. And because we're using this as HTV, we need to make sure that we mirror it. Okay, so I do have it mirrored, and we are going to get ready to send this to the cutter. So let's head over to the cutter so that we can check out the settings that we're going to be using on the cutter. Okay, y'all, so we are at our Siser Romeo, and it's now time for us to set the cut settings. So we're going to select cut settings, and based on their suggested force and speed, that's what we're going to do with the material that we have. So our first cut is going to be the puff vinyl or puff HTV, and they recommend a speed of 10. So we need to bring that down from 13 to 10. Also, the force should be 5 to 10, so we're going to bring this all the way down. Let's go in between to 8. Okay, and so those are our settings. You can also do a test cut by clicking this icon in the corner. It is a picture or an image of a t-shirt in the center of a square outlined by a circle, so you can go ahead and test cut your material prior to cutting the entire design. Okay, so this is the mask that came with the machine. It's a high-tack mask. However, my puff HTV would not stick on it, so I had to use some painter's tape to get it to stick on so that it could cut correctly. So we're going to get ready to place the mat inside, and we're going to just make sure that those wheels are up, and they are. We're going to align it right here with that corner. Right, so let's put the clamp down, and our carriage is in the home position over here, and we're going to get ready to send this to the machine. All right, y'all, so we're all done, and we're gonna actually see if this cut out. I probably could have slid this further back when I placed it into the machine and not had it so far up here to the edge, but I just wanted to be certain. So let's get ready and take this out. and it looks like it cut good. So we're going to weed this out now. Actually, I think I might have gone over too far here, but we will see. Alright guys, so we're all done with printing out our image, and you have your registration marks here. That is how your camera will be able to detect what it is going to cut. And so we are just going to line this up here on our map and make sure it's down. And you want to make sure that your ink is dry before doing this, okay? Alright, so we're going to get ready to place this inside of the machine, and this is very much so like my other cutter, the Solo, how the carriage needs to be placed in a specific location in order to detect the registration marks, okay? So we need to line that carriage up with this particular registration mark. So let's get ready to head back to our machine. Alright guys, so now we're ready to place this into the machine, and I'm just going to put this here, and then we're going to align it as it needs to be aligned. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to lower those wheels, and then we will move the carriage exactly where it needs to be. Okay, and so we're going to go with a speed of, let's do a speed of 13 just to see if we can get it cut quickly. And I want to do a force of, let's do a force of 8. Okay, this is pretty thick paper. Well, the actual sticker part, it's glossy. I want to make sure it cuts through it. So let's go ahead and move that carriage over, but first we're going to kind of bring it over to the right a little bit, and we need the blade to be aligned with that arrow. So we're going to actually bring it out a bit so that we can align the blade up with the arrow. And the way that it looks to me, it looks like it's pretty good. I'm going to bring you guys down so you guys can kind of see it too. Your angle, you can see where the actual blade is right over the arrow there. So let's hope we have that aligned pretty good, okay? So now we need to send this to our printer or send this to the machine, and you're going to see how it's going to begin cutting. If you see, it's starting to read. You see the screen. Our carriage is now going over all of the different parts. And we're going to see how this cuts. All right, so let's see how that cut. Okay, so we don't know whether or not this is going to be, if it's going to cut through it, a die cut or a kiss cut, but let's see. This is my first time cutting this material, and right now it looks, I can feel the cut. It looks good actually. So we are going to remove this from the mat. All right, so I'm just gonna flip this over, and okay, so that's a good sign. Not necessarily sure if I really wanted to do die cut, but if it were cut all the way through, would have been fine, because I'm just gonna take this and put this on my blackboard. But y'all, look how close this cut is. So we know that this should be a kiss cut at least, but we are actually just gonna go ahead and weed it this way, because I don't necessarily want to lift the sticker if it's cut all the way through off of the backing, because I'm going to be using this. So let's go ahead and, y'all, that is almost beautiful. Let's go ahead and just help it down. But it is actually pretty good. Pretty good. All right, so I'm just going through here, removing some of these parts of the sticker. I don't want to stick it on there, because I should have just been a little patient. I might say you can maybe even do a 1/4 of 9, possibly. I think we did a 1/4 of 8. I might actually do a 1/4 of 9, but this still cut great. I can definitely use this. So right here we have a little bit of extra where it didn't cut that all the way. So I would say go with the pressure of 9. Let's see which settings. Yeah, but the 8 worked beautiful. But I don't know why. Put that there. All right, so when I get to work tomorrow, all I have to do is peel this off and place that onto my board. So for the next material, we're going to be using a little bit of flock and HTV, but we're going to cut the flock portion first, and we're using this so that we can use hot fix rhinestones with this design. And I got this from Heat Transfer Warehouse. I got pretty much everything I'm using today came from Heat Transfer Warehouse. Check my description below. A link to Heat Transfer Warehouse will be there. So we're actually going to be cutting this without the mat, without any backing, and it will pretty much work the same way. I'm just going to go ahead and align this up, and then I will place the material over the housing and the blade once that's done. We're going to put the pinch wheels down. We're going to be using we're going to just bring that back. I'm actually going to bring that housing back in the home position. And I want to make sure that this material is nice and secure, because if it's not, it won't cut correctly. Okay, so that meant at that point that I needed to adjust our pinch wheel over just a tad. Okay. All right, that's looking pretty good. We can start right there. And I need to adjust the cuts. And I'm going to keep the speed at 13. And we're going to increase that force to about 55. Okay, y'all, so it's all done cutting, and as soon as I took it out, I realized that my force was way too much. I could feel the imprint on the back of the material, so I knew that my holes were not going to weed out as they should, so I'm just turning it around just to try to give it another angle of peeling the flock, and that did work a little bit better peeling at that angle. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of those holes removed so that we can brush it in. Alright, so now we're ready to brush in our rhinestones, and I'm using rhinestones from the baby's booty, of course. And I also got this rhinestone brush from the baby's booty as well. A link will be listed below to her site. The colors that I'm using today is a mixture of colors that I used before when I was making a Barbie t-shirt. And so this is just a mixture of various baby's booties rhinestone colors, and we're going to go ahead and get this placed onto the KTM mask. And I always use the KTM mask from Heat Transfer Warehouse, and we will use this to make our messy bun shirt. Can y'all believe that I could not find any black HTV? Well, except this one, and this is Cricut's Matless HTV. And I decided to give it a try, and we're cutting it using the cut settings of Easy Weed that's already preset in the system. So we're going to see and pray that this cuts out beautifully. And once I got to weeding it, y'all, it weeded like butter. Like, it weeded perfectly. So I was really, really happy about that. So in case you have an abundance of Cricut Matless vinyl, you can use it with your Siser cutting machines. Alright, so we're all done with weeding this out, and so let's get ready to press our two shirts that we're going to make today. Alright, y'all, for our first shirt, we're going to be pressing the Puff HTV, but we're also going to use a little bit of screen print confetti on it to give it a little extra color. And so we're going to, of course, lint roll, and I need to pre-press the shirt. We're only pre-pressing it for a little bit. And this is the tea confetti that we're going to be using. The recommended settings are 325 to 360 degrees Fahrenheit, and you can press it for up to 10 seconds. So let's get ready to set this up. So we're going to press the screen print confetti first, and then we're going to press the puff. I just kind of want to sit this here just to get an idea of placement and also to get those sprinkles on there. Now I really think that this will look great once we use like different colors, like how it's designed inside of Leonardo. But for the most part for today, this is going to look just fine for us. And this is exactly where I want it to be on the shirt. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to get some of the screen print confetti, and we're going to sprinkle it around on the shirt like this. You don't want to concentrate too much in one area, but we're just going to kind of put it here. All right. So this is pretty much the area where we want our screen print confetti to be. So now we're going to place parchment paper on top. And then we're going to press it for 10 seconds. All right, that's 10 seconds. And then we're going to peel back that parchment paper. Now we're going to reduce the temperature. I'm going to reduce the temperature to 280 degrees for the puff. But we're also going to increase the pressure. So that means the pressure of the press, we're going to increase the pressure. All right, guys, so we're going to get ready to press this. I increased the pressure significantly, and we are just going to place more parchment paper on top just to protect our press, but I do have a Teflon cover on the press anyway. So let's get ready and press, and we're only going to be pressing this for about 8 seconds. So yeah, puff is very unforgiving, and you got one shot to get it right, and I missed the mark. So we pressed it, but when I lifted it up, I noticed that the parchment paper kind of caused a little bit of unevenness, and I used that old parchment paper, and if you notice, one side looks okay, but that left side just was not working out. So I went ahead and I actually ended up pressing it 2 more times just to try to get it to give it some life, and this is what we came out with. So this is our own version of puff print. We are going for a more scary puff outcome. So that's what it looks like this time. It looks like a scary puff outlet because I was trying to protect the press because of the tea confetti using the extra parchment paper, and that just did not work out for us. But in the end, I like it. I'll wear it. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and press our shirt. And we need to lint roll this first. And then give it a pre-press. Still had a little confetti up there, but it's okay. We're gonna go ahead and place this onto our shirt. All right, we're gonna press this down now. Alright, so that's all done. I don't remember if this is a warm peel. It is definitely a cold peel. So we're going to let this cool off a bit, and then we're going to press our rhinestones on top. Alright guys, so I let it cool off, and we're going to peel the backing off, and just pull it down like this. So if you want to go ahead and press it again now, you can, and then apply your rhinestone. So I'm going to go ahead, give this one more press. Just a second press. And then I'm going to bring it back up. Not too much. Okay, so now we can get ready and place our blinged out headband on. Here's our headband, and I am just going to align it up based on the template. Now, when you're doing rhinestones and HTV, you want to make sure that the rhinestones are not sitting on top of the HTV because they will fall off, okay? So those rhinestones need to be in contact with the shirt mainly. All right, so that's what we have. Let's get ready to press that. Alright, let's see what that's going to look like. Uh-oh. So maybe let's wait until this cools off then, because apparently our sticker is not good for the HTV. So let's wait for it to cool off. I'm going to press it one more time. We'll wait for it to cool, and then we'll see. Alright, so let's wait for that to cool down. Alright guys, so I let it cool off, so let's get ready to see if we can peel it now with it being cooled. And that's peeling just fine. So if you are forced to use a large piece of KTM mask, or if you're just placing this on top of any HTV, take note of that. Okay. And this is our shirt, and I think she looks great. All right, y'all, so we are all done with unboxing, testing, and completing a few projects with our Siser Romeo and using Leonardo, the design software for our new cutter And y'all, everything worked beautifully as far as designing, importing files, opening up the files, cutting. All of that went really, really smoothly. Now the application mishap, that has nothing to do with the machine. That is all user error. But as far as the machine, everything cut beautifully. I'm super impressed. I can't wait to use more materials with this cutter and see everything that it can do, and maybe even push it past its limits. Now, I did hear in the past that there is probably going to be a rhinestone feature or panel added to the Leonardo software, and I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to be able to create rhinestone designs inside of the new Leonardo Design Space software. So that's pretty much it for us today. It's not going to be it for us in Romeo. Like, he's locked in because he's just that good. But that's it for today, y'all. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to head over to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and join the Craftable Things communities there as well. We would love to have you. If you are interested in anything that I use today, a link will be listed below in the description. So just search the links and you will find whatever it is that I use today there. But that's it, y'all. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time.